I'm back. Hi guys. Did you miss me? You probably didn't miss me because, well, I don't know if you missed me or not. Hopefully you did. Hopefully I've warmed your heart the way you guys warm mine. Anyway, I just wanted to come talk to y'all, chit chat, tell you about my little journey, things that have been going on in my life. I have been studying, or had been studying, because your girl's officially a nurse. Like, there's nothing better in the world, no better in the world feeling than accomplishing a goal, setting out to accomplish a goal. Accomplishing a goal and smashing it, knocking that bitch right out the park. And that being nursing school. And my NCLEX on the first try. I passed my NCLEX, y'all. I'm officially a registered nurse. Yeah, so I just wanted to tell you guys about my experience with the NCLEX. I studied for weeks, and I took two different things to study. I studied on UWorld and I studied on Kaplan. Pretty much just taking quizzes. Like, I took 75 question quiz every single day for the most part for at least a month before I took the NCLEX. I sat for NCLEX, and I would here and there watch videos, brush up on stuff. Mainly I brushed up on meds because meds were my weak point. I think pharm is like everybody's weak point, so it is what it is, but meds was my weak point. And so I moved my test date 3 separate times. I graduated in August. We took the Kaplan prep in September, took the test maybe September 12th to see the secure predictor, to see how well we did. And that basically tells you where you are in your studying for NCLEX. If you get over a 60 and above means you're doing good, you're prepared to take your NCLEX. In my school, it's like the exit exam. You had to score over a 60 to be approved and sit for our school to send your information over to the state to sit for the exam. I got a 68, so I did pretty good. I was very impressed with myself, very happy. And they sent my ATT. ATT is your approval to test. They sent that over, and originally I scheduled my exam at the end of October. And as the end of October was approaching, I began to get hella nervous. Especially like the week before my exam, the weekend before, I was scheduled to be in Vegas, and I knew I wasn't about to study that weekend. I did a little studying in Vegas, but for the most part, I didn't study that weekend. So I knew that was going to happen, and I just genuinely felt like the week before I sit for NCLEX, I'm not about to not study the entire week before. Like, that's not going to happen. So I couldn't reschedule my trip. That wasn't an option. So I just rescheduled my test to the end of November. And then I felt like that was just too long of a wait. So I rescheduled my test to the middle of November. And I sat for my NCLEX last Friday. So a couple tips and tricks, like, I didn't know that when you show up to your NCLEX, it's a possibility that you could take your exam right then and there. So if you are the type of person that if you're just sitting around waiting, your anxiety is going to build, then go into the office wherever you're taking your exam and ask them, is there a seat available? In your nicest way possible. Is there a seat available? Can I take my test now? Can I sit for my exam now? And they will say yes or no. I went in, asked if there was a seat available, and I was told someone is finishing within the next 5-10 minutes, and then we need another 5-10 minutes to clean the area for you, and then you can sit for your exam. Child, I was so nervous. In my mind, I was going to sit for those 10-20 minutes and study. I got there 3 hours early. So in my mind, for real, those 3 hours, I was just going to be studying. And then I checked and they, told me the seat was available and I could sit. Those entire 10-20 minutes that I was sitting, waiting for my seat to be cleaned and be available for me, I was on the phone with my mama, my fiance, my girlfriend, my sister, panicking. In panic mode. I don't know if I'm ready. Why did I do this to myself? Is this really for me? Do I really want to be a nurse? I don't know. Can I just be a stay-at-home wife? Is that okay with you? Like, what should I do, guys? What if I fail? What if I don't pass? I'm gonna say this a million times over. Please don't do that to yourself. Please do not doubt yourself. Please don't doubt yourself. And I know that's the hardest thing in the world to do. Also, don't go in there with a false sense of security either, because it's not easy. But if you prepared, if you've done every single thing that you know you could possibly do to prepare for the test, you will be okay. Say your prayer to God. I prayed 3 full times. Say your prayer. Hope for the best. And just give it your all. Like, honestly, that was the hardest test I ever took in my entire fucking life. The hardest test. But with that being said, I got through it. And I passed. And I'm better for it. And it's over with. And you will too. For sure. So I sat for my test. Oh, let me tell you the process. So when you come inside, you give them your state ID. You tell them your name, all that information. They mark you off. They check your ID. They check it to your name. Make sure everything is spelled properly. Then they do this thing with your hand where they get your fingerprint of your hand. You gotta hold your hand on this thing so it could get an imprint of your hand. And you have to do that checking in and out whenever you take breaks, whenever you go back. So that they know for sure it's you coming back and it's not somebody else coming back. So I did that. Then you get to the back portion, like right in the area where you can see all the tests and who is monitoring the test. And that person examines you, makes you wipe down your sleeves to show that you don't have anything in your pockets, wipe down the back of your legs, wipe down the front of your legs to show you don't have anything in your legs. And they have a screen where they can see every single person, what everybody's doing, if anybody is talking, all of the things, which is awesome because it's okay, at least I know this is a fair test. For everybody's getting the same test, nobody's able to cheat. This is cool. So that's that. And then you sit and you start and you take the first question. And panic sets in. And you're ready to vomit. And you're just I don't know what to do. I don't know how many more of these I can get through. And in my mind, the plan that I had was, oh, I'm going to take 25 questions and then I'm going to take a break. And then I'm going to do another 25 and then I'm going to take a break. I probably would have done so much better, and better being, I probably would have answered the questions better and stopped at 75, and the test stopped at 75 instead of 145. I had 145 questions. Cha. I probably would have did better and stopped at 75 if I had taken more breaks. I only took one break, but the break that I did take, it was so much to go through just to take a break that it was like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to take another break. Let me just get this over with. But don't be like me. Take your breaks, sis, because take your breaks. That test is mentally exhausting. So, all right, so question 83, I just had enough and my brain hurt. Literally, my brain hurt. So I took a break. I went out to the hallway, prayed again, went to the bathroom, did my little power pose. I don't know if you heard of the power pose. One of my teachers told me this. If you put your hands on your hips and stand in like a wide stance with your hands on your hips, like a Superman pose, if you stand there for like, I don't know, a minute, it gives you like these endorphins to accomplish whatever goal it is you're trying to accomplish. It's a mental thing. So I did that. I deep breathed. And I took my butt back in there and finished that test. And when I tell you, also don't do this. When you get to 75, don't expect the test to just stop. That ain't it, sis. Expect to take the full exam. I know they tell you this, but no, seriously, expect to take the full exam. I was thinking about how all my girlfriends, you know, the test stopped at 75 for them. The test stopped at 80 for them. The test stopped at 83 for them. In the moment, every time I clicked next and there was an actual question, I was irked. Especially at 83. I think that's why I took that break, because I was like, fuck this shit, man. I can't believe they still asking me questions. And so, yeah, that was that. I genuinely felt like every single question was something brand new that I had never heard of before. I could count on two hands how many questions I for sure knew the answer to. I think the most important part of nursing school is them teaching you how to make an educated guess. What is most likely the answer? What, as a nurse, is most detrimental to my patient? What is most important for me to know? What is most important for me to see first or take care of first? Those type of things. Is how you make an educated guess. Oh, also, I did watch a lot of Mark Clement's videos. So if you Google him, I would say it helped. He even has his own class. And at one point I had thought I failed. So I was planning on booking his class, and I'm so happy that I didn't book it until I got my actual results. Because like I said, when you're taking them questions and you just aren't 100% sure that it's not like it's telling you right then in the moment. I wish it did, but it's not like it's telling you right then in the moment that you got the answer right or wrong. So, you know, you start doubting yourself. So I finished the test, and initially I didn't know how to feel. Like, one minute I felt like, oh, maybe I did well. The next minute I felt like, I'm not so sure, because I just kept getting meds. And I already told y'all, meds is my weakness. So for me to continuously keep getting meds, it was like concerning for me. But, the thing is, this is a smart test. Like, they, from the first 10 questions, figure out your weaknesses, and that's what they're going to test you on. So yeah, sis, I don't know. I didn't feel the most confident, especially because I didn't get 75 questions. Maybe if I had gotten 75 questions or even something low, I would feel like, okay, yeah, I did well. Yeah, I ain't feel that way at all. I left there thinking like, what the fuck was that? What was that? That's how I felt after the exam. So I leave the exam and I call everybody up and they're like, how do you feel? And I'm like, I don't know. I don't feel great. I don't know how this went. Leave me alone. I go home, get myself together, chill, watch TV, call my girlfriend, and she like, well, did you do the trick yet? And in my mind, I'm like, well, I thought the trick, you had to wait at least to the next day to do the trick. If you don't know what trick I'm talking about, the NCLEX trick, you can look it up, Google it. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. Please don't do it to yourself. Because mine didn't work. So the trick is, you sign into Pearson Vue as if you were scheduling to take the test. And the idea behind the trick is, if it allows you to schedule another test, then you failed. And if it doesn't allow you to schedule another test, then you passed. And the thing is, so they want you to put in the wrong card number. Just put something wrong in on your card number. The expiration date, put that in wrong, or put your card number in wrong. So it doesn't actually charge your card, but you get to see whether or not you pass. And if you get the result that comes back and says, card information is wrong, apparently that's supposed to mean that you failed. But since I passed and that shit came up, and I was shitting bricks for the rest of the weekend, like, oh my God, what? I did what? I was Googling stuff that said, like, oh, if you got the failed screen, and that means there's a 10% chance that you passed, but a 90% chance that you failed. I don't know, maybe I'm one of them 10%, but at the end of the day, I wish I never did that. I wish I never did it. Because when I did it, it was a couple hours after the test. I lied to you not. I started studying. I pulled out all my books from school. Like, where did I go wrong? I pulled out all my books from school and started studying. Saturday morning, I took my test on a Friday. Saturday morning, I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning to read pharmacology books. I read a pharm book for an hour, and then I read a pathology book for an hour. And then I started studying pharm flashcards for an hour. I studied for 8 hours that day. I broke it up, but I studied for 8 hours that day. My head hurt more that day than it did taking the damn exam. Then Sunday, I started studying some more. Sunday, I didn't go as hard as I did on Saturday. Saturday, I was just fired up. And to top all of that off, so if you fail the exam, you have to wait 45 days. Y'all gonna think I'm silly, but you have to wait 45 days from the time that you failed the exam to the time that you could sit for the exam again. Saturday morning, y'all know my little board that's on my wall? I wrote day 45. Sunday morning, I erased the 5 and made it a 4 because I was counting down. This is what I need to do. This is going to get done. I am going to be a nurse. whether y'all like it or not. So Sunday I studied some more. And then Monday morning, I dropped the babies off to school. I come home, I'm in the car, and something just said, see if you can sign in and see if you pass. I signed in. I paid to see if I passed or failed. That shit said I passed. I had the ugliest cry in the world, like the ugliest cry in the world. I called my girlfriend up, like, it says pass. Does that mean I passed? She was like, are you slow? I said, no, listen, it says status pass. P-A-S-S, not passed, pass. Does that mean I passed? She said, girl, send me a screenshot. I sent her the screenshot, crying tears. Like, yes, congratulations, you passed. I was so excited, so happy, but also so relieved. I'm so relieved. Because my dollars, my coins was getting low. I didn't know how I was going to make it these next 45 days. A sis need a job. And sis just genuinely just wants to be a nurse. Like, that's just something I really just want to do. I want to help people. Oh, and I ain't tell you, to make matters worse, I had an interview the day before the NCLEX. The day before. And pretty much in that interview, the woman told me the job is yours as long as you pass your NCLEX. To the point where, let's schedule your shadow day for the next day. And that's where I just came from. And it's working with children, which I love. I think I'm going to love even more. And yeah, it was pretty awesome. So I see a whole bunch of videos of people that say, oh, if you do the result, it's definitely going, or if you do the test, it's definitely going to say the right thing, whether you passed or whether you failed. But I'm living proof that that's not necessarily always true. So my suggestion is, people stop doing that. Like, y'all think these people that make these tests don't have access to YouTube, don't have access to the internet just the same way everybody else do, don't know that y'all making these tricks and tips, and that's stupid. Stop telling people to do that. Please learn from me. Because you will have a panic attack. Be ready to hurt somebody, or I don't know. All because you did this trick that you wasn't supposed to do to find out if you passed the test that you passed. Now, for those that don't pass, cool, but do you want to put yourself in a predicament where you did pass a test and you think because of this trick you failed? I would have preferred not to have done that. And I only did it because I was told consistently that is an accurate trick. It may have been accurate in the 90s. It may have been accurate in the early 2000s. It ain't that accurate no more. That's just how I feel about that. But good luck to you all. I pray that y'all study hard and get it done and take full advantage of every opportunity you get to study, because it's not an easy test by far. I've taken the LSTATs before and I scored high on the LSTATs, and I barely studied at all for the LSTATs. It don't compare to this test. And I think it's because it's a smart test. I think it's because it can tell, like, oh, you're not good with renal. So I'm gonna give you a bunch of renal questions. Or you may not necessarily know. Like, I love cardiac stuff. I don't know, like you'll see eventually, like there are certain subjects that you just know really, really well and you just like. I love cardiac stuff. And I didn't have one cardiac question on that test. Not one! 145 questions. How did I not have one cardiac question on the test? So good luck to you all. I pray that you do well. And don't do that trick. Just wait the 48 hours. Sleep the whole 48 hours if you need to, but don't do that stupid trick. It don't work.